So Glover Teixeira, I mean, guys, is this the feel-good story? Honest to goodness, is this the feel-good story of MMA? Because it's for sure the feel-good story of 2021. Like, there's really no way around it because Glover is now doing and aspiring us to what we would like to do and what we aspire to do. And whether you guys have hit 40 yet or not, you still understand the point of growing up in a world where we're told that the world belongs to 18 to 25-year-olds. And if you've already lived through that, and any party goes, well, shoot, I guess my time's done because you believed that, or if you are approaching 40 and thinking, well, I guess my clock's ticking and my best days are behind me, you have somebody like Glover. And of course, we'd have to compare him to who? Tom Brady. We'd have to compare him to who? Dara Torres. We'd have to compare him to who? I mean, right, you go down there's not a whole lot of people like that, but it sure is inspired. Oh, and by the way, Glover is one punch, one good night from being the champion. Let's say he never gets it. He is the rightful number one contender. And the reason I bring this up and the point I'm attempting to make, if you were to do this in football or basketball or baseball, of which I think, aside from Tom Brady, I don't believe it's done, at least right now. But let's say you did. That would be a tremendous feat that you could feel wonderful about, brag about, do interviews about, for sure. But that is very different in getting a GM or somebody to sign your name onto a piece of paper. Glover has earned this. He is the true number one contender. There's not another 205-pounder who disagrees with that. And it's very, very rare when you get to that spot. We only have one other guy in the whole sport like that, and that's Dustin Poirier. At 155 pounds, all of the 55-pounders stand back and admit that he is the number one contender. I only bring that to you because we've got a fight going on right now. Pick a division. Throw a division at me. Heavyweight. Okay. Derek Lewis looks like he's getting the next shot. John Jones is always a good choice considering he's never lost, whether he's done it or not. Never lost. And why are we forgetting Stipe, right? But you see where there's a debate. 170 pounds. Is it the BMF? Is it Colby? How good's Chimaev? Right? I mean, you see where this goes on? So the compliment that Glover is getting is a compliment that Glover earned, that he fought for. And you gotta really understand this, and I think that you do. I think that I'm stating the obvious, but I want to state it anyway so that it's on the record. As you get older, a fighter will get old. You'll hear that term. And you'll even hear a term, a fighter will get old overnight. Guys, it's true. It's very true. And the last person to know is the fighter. We all see it as the audience. And what do we see? We see a guy that slowed down. His feet aren't moving the same. His reactions just aren't the same. And one of the first ways that you can see that somebody is getting old is they get tired faster. It's a conditioning issue. Now, that's not because the lung capacity, it's not because the physiology changes as you get older as much as you just can't train as hard. The reason that checking an athlete's level of conditioning is very effective to know where he's at, if he's gone over the hump, see on the cutting edge or the bleeding edge, the reason can't do it in the practice room. And I'm telling you this from experience, guys. I remember I never argued with Clayton Hires in my life. I wouldn't do it. I don't know what would happen to me if I did. It would not have been pleasant, but it was also a respect thing. I never questioned that man. But there was a day when I said, Coach, I'm having a hard time with all these. We jump rope. And we do it at the end of practice. A lot of people jump at the beginning to warm up. With Clayton, it's part of the training. You don't get to just jump the rope in the corner and get a little sweat going on. You are going fast. And we would do 3 and 4 and 5 rounds after a day of training. I did it every single day. I hated it. I never liked the rope. And I don't mind jumping. I think I will add this in case Coach Clayton sees this, but you MMA guys can probably relate with me. I don't mind jumping rope. It's a great exercise. I used to do it in wrestling. I do it in strength and conditioning. You want to know the difference? I had shoes on. So if you're an MMA guy and you're jumping rope, but you mess up, meaning the rope hits your toe, oh my goodness, it will bring you to your knees. It will bring the toughest man to his knees. Then Clayton would bring the rope I had to jump with. I brought my own rope every day. He'd take my rope and hand me his rope. Every day I tried to get away with this. Oh, no, I got one, Coach. Every day, same conversation. Take my rope, give me his rope. His rope weighed 2 pounds, and it was a thick leather piece. I could have hooked Coach Clayton's jump rope to the bumper of my car and drug another car. I bring that to you because if you screw up, I mean, this thing would bring me to my knees. I'd spar 4 and 5 guys and be fine. Leaving one piece, good, hard, durable, good tray. I would jump rope. If I screwed up, I would be, oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. I got a little off my point. My point was, I said to him I finally admitted and I said the words to him, I'm having a hard time getting all these rounds in. First one's no problem. I expect to do it. Second one's a pretty good push. But when we start to get to 3 and 4 and 25 minutes in to the jump rope after practice, but it was a sign. It wasn't that I was breaking down mentally. I think that's what Clayton thought. Chael's not being tough enough right now. It was a physical thing. So when you can't jump rope the same, you can't get the same miles in. You can't get on the bike and push. You can't do some of these things for your cardio in the gym. What happens? Well, you're not in as good a shape. So it's just something that we can identify, but it's something that I bring to you because it's one of Glover's greatest weapons is his pace. One of Glover Teixeira's single greatest threats that he will use to intimidate the person across from him is how hard he can go. That's not new. That's been the 101 on Glover forever. From the first time I saw him to the first time I trained with him till now. In front of his punches and kicks, he's a very strong guy too, but even in front of that, it's his ability to come at you. And I bring that to you because when you are talking about somebody that is a feel-good story, because he did have a dream and he is driving and he's not listening to everybody and he's not taking no for an answer. And he's not asking for any favors. I mean, he did everything right and over 40 and the true #1 contender. And I bring that to you because Blachowicz is favored to beat him. If these guys are fighting tonight, I'm going to pick Blachowicz to beat him. He has something to be very proud of because he earned this. And if I'm wrong, he becomes the world champion. If I'm right, he's recognized at this point in his life for the second time in his life being the second best fighter in the world. Is that an insult? I mean, did any part of that sound like an insult? Because I'll tell you one more story as I get off Glover here. I insulted Kamaru Usman by saying that about him. Called me on it. Kamaru Usman fought Tyron Woodley, T-Mobile Arena, wins in an upset. Two or a 2.5-1 underdog, wins all 5 rounds, comes up onto the set of ESPN. Looks great, Kamaru. Few people can wear a suit and look as cool as Kamaru. I said, congratulations. And he said, I heard what you've been saying all week. And I said, well, I didn't say anything bad. And he said, it had a little sauce on it. I didn't know that term before. It had a little sauce on it. But this is what he says to me. Had a little sauce on it. And I said, Kamaru, because we had done predictions on ESPN. We'd done them the night before. I remembered what I said. It was only a day ago, which was Tyron Woodley. As good as Usman is, Tyron is better everywhere. He's a better wrestler, better striker, more experience. Kamaru Usman is the second best guy in the world, and Tyron Woodley will win. Well, the Chael curse was real. I screwed T Wood, but my point being this, that I had to share with Kamaru. Kamaru, I now know you're the best fighter in the world, but I woke up today thinking you were the second best, which I said publicly. And he thought about it for a second. And he said, yeah, man, I guess you're right. He said, I guess you're right. That's not a big insult. So, guys, let's see where this goes. It's a feel-good story. I couldn't be happier that it's happening. And the other side of it is Blachowicz. Blachowicz does deserve a level of credit. One thing that Blachowicz said, and he said, I'll fight Glover, I'll fight anybody, but I'm taking 6 months off. Never a great idea to take breaks. Whoever got to him and said, don't do that, did him a favor. But all the same, he still had to change his mind. He still wanted to go in one direction, which sounds like sitting on a beach with a pina colada for a few days, and instead went back into a dirty, filthy gym to get punched in the head, face, neck, and chest. So I only share that with you because Blachowicz also, right, this dream doesn't happen for Glover without his partner. Glover, congratulations. Blachowicz, cool move.